It's my high. Look at me. I mean, look at me. I'm sweating. I'm just crazy with. I'm irate. I'm angry right now. I mean, people should. If that's what's presented to them, that's what they're going to think. That's what they're going to think happened, and that's not right. And that's not right to do that.
Why are you yelling at me? You should be telling the people and the filmmakers.
You're right. That's right. Okay. Hey, you filmmakers and people. I went to the Elvis movie yesterday. By the way, thank you for sneaking me in your pocket. It was perfect. First of all, let me tell you, I'm a huge Elvis fan. I know a lot about Elvis. Over the years and years and years, I've always loved Elvis. I have tapes, I have videos, I've watched documentaries, I've read about it. I know a lot about him. In fact, I'm very stickler for Elvis, all right? If an Elvis impersonator comes in the room, just if he's in a movie or something, and just if he walks into a room, he doesn't even have to say anything. I can just tell from the first step if he's a good Elvis impersonator or not. All right? So I was hesitant to see the movie. I was hesitant because I watched the trailer, and the Elvis, first thing was like, well, it doesn't really look like Elvis, you know, but who does really? But there's some top-notch, like in the top 3 Elvis impersonators in the world, there's 1 or 2 that look like him, that kind of look like him. So this kid, you know, you can stretch your imagination, but he didn't really have the Elvis thing. And the other thing was Tom Parker, Tom Hanks' accent. Like, that doesn't sound like Tom Parker. I mean, there's a video of him. You can hear how he sounds. What the heck is that? So, anyway, I was real hesitant, but I knew I was going to see it. So, anyway, finally went to see it. I would have saw it earlier, but there was some circumstances that arose and I couldn't go. Anyway, all right, so I shouldn't be at a movie knowing the life of this person, knowing pretty much a lot, or if not every little detail that was in public about him, and sitting there going, oh, that's not what happened. Well, that's not true. Well, that's completely wrong. You know, I was thinking, like, am I watching an Elvis movie or a fantasy reimagining of it? Because it was packed with lies. If you were looking to see an actual depiction of the events in Elvis's lives and his career and everything else, this is not the movie to see. Right? Because you're going to walk out of there thinking that a lot of this stuff happened, and it didn't. Lies, lies, lies. And I'm going to say lies because when you know the actual story that took place and then you fabricate something and it comes across as something different, you're lying about it. And that's what you did, Mr. Director. Okay? You lied. And there's a bunch of lies. And I'll just go over some of them. Let me just start. First of all, Elvis agreed to their exclusive management deal and shaking hands on the Ferris wheel. It didn't happen on a Ferris wheel, for heaven's sakes. It happened on the teacups at Disneyland. Hey, why not? Since we're making things up, let's put them on the teacups at Disneyland, even though the Colonel met Elvis in February of 1955, and Disneyland didn't open until July of 1955. So what? It doesn't matter. We're making things up. Let's put them on the teacups. That'll be cool. So it didn't happen on a Ferris wheel. How about the Memphis little concert where he opened the concert with the song Trouble, and it was immediately, you know, that during the song and during that first song, he had to be, you know, rushed off stage or dragged off stage, and there was riots and everything, and all the police were around and everything else. That wasn't accurate at all either. Right? That was in 55 or 56. All right, that was either later 55 or early 56 where that happened. And he didn't sing the song Trouble. He didn't open with the song Trouble. Why? Well, Trouble, he didn't even know the song at that point. Right? If you're in 55 or 56, the song Trouble was written for the movie King Creole, which was in 1958. So how could he have sang Trouble in 1956 at the latest? Holy crap. And he did a 30-minute set. He did 8 songs. He opened with Heartbreak Hotel, ended with Hound Dog. The fans were, yes, enthusiastic and wild and everything else, but he didn't have to be rushed off stage or anything like that. All right, so that was fabricated. That's a lie. Let's jump ahead to the producers meeting Elvis to discuss the comeback special or the Christmas special as in the movie. All right, Steve Binder and Bones Howe. Elvis is sitting on the Hollywood sign and symbolizing, oh, the broken down sign, and his career is broken down and everything else. And the boys bring him up, his Memphis Mafia bring him up, and they meet while he's sitting on the sign to discuss. Cool, but hey, you know what? Since we're making things up, how about if we take him up in a plane. The three of them go up in a plane, they strap parachutes off, they jump out of the plane, and on the way down, they're parachuting, they discuss doing the comeback special. How about that? Because that would symbolize better the plunging career of Elvis at the time. Yeah, okay? The actual truth of the story, Elvis met Bittner and Howe at their offices on the Sunset Strip, okay? And now if you wanted to put something in the movie, and by the way, he didn't have the Memphis Mafia come in the meeting with them or anything. They wanted Elvis alone to not be influenced by anybody else. But here's what they should have put in the movie, which would have been real and truthful and actually more symbolic of Elvis's career at the time. They actually, the two and him, they walked outside. So they were on Sunset Boulevard. And Elvis was astounded that all the people passing by, walking by and passing by, no one recognized him or nobody even knew who he was. And that kind of surprised Elvis. But that's where his career was at the time. That was truthful. That should have been in the movie. Make it sitting on a Hollywood sign. How about that? Let's go to the special. So the movie presents the special as being, the Colonel didn't know anything that was going to happen. He thought Elvis was going to come out in Christmas sweaters and sing 1,000 Christmas songs, and it was always going to be good. And then, be behind his, without him knowing, they put him in a black suit and black leather, and he came out and sang those songs. And at the end, they had the big Christmas set design, and they had the builders in order to fool Tom Parker, because Tom Parker thought he was going to have a Christmas song in there. And then last second they switched the cameras, moved the cameras around, put Elvis in a white suit and sing "If I Can Dream" and have the big Elvis sign. Oh crap! Colonel knew what was going on. The network knew. It was signed off by Colonel. Okay, Colonel signed off on what the show was going to be. There was no ruse. They didn't build a set to fool him and trick him into thinking it was going to be a Christmas show. For gosh sake, geez, oh man. And in the movie, they had Kennedy, they presented Kennedy as being assassinated during the actual filming of the show. That's wrong. He was assassinated several weeks before they actually filmed the special. Okay, so it was several weeks. And by the way, you know what they should have done? Again, since we're making things up, they should have had President John F. Kennedy still alive and then being assassinated in '68 instead of Bobby, his brother. And that would have been cool, right? That would have been better, more impactful. Ridiculous. So that was all kind of crazy. The Colonel knew what was happening for the comeback special. He signed off on it earlier, weeks before, and the network knew, etc. Let's go with one more, because I'm getting more fired up and just. Elvis did not fire Colonel Parker during a show, in the middle of a show on the Vegas stage. That did not happen. He did fire Tom Parker. It was '74, I believe, and it was backstage. It was backstage. Curtains were down. There was no show. It was a backstage. They had a loud argument. He fired him, but it was not during the show. Like Elvis had a breakdown. He was just yelling at everybody and firing him, and we had to bring the curtain down. That's crap. All right. Too many lies. Too many. So everybody's going to come out of that movie that doesn't know Elvis is going to think that's what really happened. That's wrong. Why make things up? Really, seriously. Like Elvis's life wasn't exciting and fascinating enough that you had to fabricate stuff? My goodness, there's so many great stories of Elvis. If you want to learn about Elvis, watch the interviews. Watch Elvis on tour. Just him. It's a live thing of him going on tour. All the Memphis Mafia, some of them have books. Some of them do interviews. You can read a lot of stuff behind the scenes and the truth about stuff. All the stuff in the movie, like the big stuff, that's all verifiable. Why would you even make up something, someone so iconic that could easily be fact-checked? And why do you have to fact-check a movie if you're doing something about a real person? Good gracious. So let's... and Tom Hanks, by the way, Tom Hanks, the accent. Go watch Colonel Tom Parker talk. He's out there. You can hear his voice with crazy accent. You know what would have been better if Tom Hanks talked Ebonics. Ebonics would have been hip. It would have been now. That would have been Ah, that would have been so cool. Since we're making things up. No. So, all right. So, overall, with the movie, listen, Tom Hanks, whatever, he was consistent with the accent, consistent with the character. So, performance, fine, but just wrong with the accent. Austin Butler, I think he did a really, really good job. Really, really good job. If anything, I just would have just a couple teensy-weensy little minute nitpicky things to say. But for the most part, he was great. He was great. So, Austin Butler, you get 2 thumbs up for your performance. Great job. Director Baz Luhrmann, whatever your name is, you get 2 middle fingers up for your lies and for your fabrications and for your, if you want to do fantasy movies, go do fantasy movies, all right? Don't take an iconic figure, one of the most iconic figures in history, and change the facts of what actually happened. What is wrong with you? Elvis fans, you should be kind of irate or up in arms about this, sort of, because that's what people are saying. People didn't know Elvis, but the young people going to see it, they think that's what happened. Wrong. Why do I have to go to a fact checker and see, well, did this really happen? Did this really happen? It's 2 big middle fingers up to you, Baz. All right? So that's it. I went, I saw it. It's fine. I mean, do I take any anxiety pills? Because if I don't, I should start. Because I'm looking at me, I'm drenched, I'm sweaty. I need rest. I need rest. Okay, keep me off of here.